All right, welcome back. It's time for us to talk entertainment. I have here with me what a lot of people have called the breakout star of 2020, 2019, whichever year it is you watched the great movie Living in Bondage, the remake. Jidekene Achufusi, how are you doing?
I'm good, bro.
Good to see you. I mean, your movie came out 2019, I believe. 2020, you won the AMVCA. Congratulations. And then we went into a lockdown. Everybody, you couldn't now enjoy, Was that painful for you, seeing that, I mean, you had just, come into the space and then you couldn't particularly live the life of, this new life that you had just acquired?
Well, I had a couple of interviews lined up for a start and for, publicity and all of that, but I'm thankful, because one thing I was able to take away from being locked down is patience. It gave me the opportunity to think through a lot of things, things I wanted to just jump into, let's get it, but it allowed me to relax more, have a general overview of what the industry is like at a different level. So it was a good time for reflection and looking inward. So in as much as I missed up, what I could have been able to achieve over that period of time, but grateful for life.
Yeah, because you also use it to build.
Exactly.
And a lot of people think that's your first movie, but it's not. You have been in the industry for quite a bit. When did you start?
Professionally, 2013.
Okay.
Yeah, professionally, but we've been doing the whole trying to get a contact of somebody in the real industry. I'm the first person in the arts in my entire family, so it was not on the back of anybody. We know anybody, So 2013 till now, it's been a journey. Recently I had a movie come out on Netflix, Black Rose, that we made in 2015. So it's amazing, just looking back and seeing that, boy has been good.
Yeah.
Just a matter of the right time and the right platform to be able to expand.
You were living in Enugu.
Yes.
Did you have to move here?
After living in bondage, yes.
Yeah. So Enugu is also sort of a thriving space for movies. Why did you feel the need to move? Does Lagos have to be the place where it happens? Because we hear Enugu a lot. We hear Asaba sometimes. We'll hear about Kano. But everybody always seems to say, okay, you have to sort of be here to, make it as big as you'd like to.
So the easiest way to explain that is, for example, if granite grows in Kano, but the products that you get to make from granite, let's assume maybe some drink or whatever, the processing plants, the places where there's the power, the money power, the publicity power, the television channels, the interviews. You wouldn't come to Enugu to interview me, So Enugu is great for churning out and producing talents, but Lagos is the hub. Lagos is where you're most likely to run into a South African filmmaker or an Indian filmmaker or an American or a British filmmaker. The chances, the odds, it's better here. That's the reason why people move here, that's all. But if we're able to, create more whatever industries or meetings, instead of all the headquarters to be in Lagos, if some international companies decide to come settle in Soka, somewhere beautiful, somewhere on the hill, people wouldn't really need to come all the way
So
down.
You don't think that's a good thing? The fact that everything is here?
Well, there's New York, there's LA, that's the problem we have in Nigeria. We don't have 2 points. We don't have places that we know, if you want to make a film, go to Atlanta, but if you want to, do the Beverly Hill lifestyle, you go to LA and stuff. So I think Lagos is everything, and it's not so good because we're not looking for anything unfortunate to happen, but at some point saturation leads to everybody moving in uniform lines, So sometimes when you see a film that come from an Enugu filmmaker, it's usually quite different, in terms of how they understand or how they want to tell a story. So most times, I think diversity is better.
Yeah. Let's talk about Living in Bondage now. I know you've had tons of interviews about Living in Bondage, tons and tons of them. But I just asked that because I remember, when the talk about the remake had started, a lot of us had very, emotional attachments, to this original, movie that came out in 1993, I believe. And there was a call for people to submit videos or something along those lines. What made you do it?
Well, being someone who has come from Enugu several times by road to Lagos to audition for different platforms, different auditions from Ebony Live to Tinsel and the rest of them, I didn't want to do it, to be honest, because I felt like deja vu all over again. So I didn't want to do it, but eventually I got a call and they said that I matched the physical description of who they were looking for. So it was more or less a special invitation to submit a video. At that point, I thought, okay, yes, now I can do this. And to be honest, it wasn't different from the same amount of pressure when making the video. Are they going to like it? Is it good enough? Yeah, went through exactly the same thing everybody else went through. Because even after I submitted the video, I still had to physically audition with the director when they came to town, because they actually did like a nationwide tour looking for the talent that they needed. Yeah.
Yeah. Did you know about anybody else who was almost getting the role?
Well, I had names, really big names, to be honest. I had names like our Igbo brothers who were doing so well, people I look up to. I had a lot of names, and in my mind, I don't know if I believed, but I know that I was giving it 110. Yeah, 110%. And somewhere, somehow, a little birdie did say that they didn't want anybody popular. So I'm like, okay,
maybe
let's see how this goes. Yeah.
So that was a blessing in disguise for you.
Exactly.
That you hadn't blown before that.
I hadn't moved to Lagos before that. Because if I had moved to Lagos, one way or the other, they would know you. The biggest problem we have in Nollywood is stereotyping. If it's ghetto movies that's going now, everybody will go into ghetto movies. It's love or comedy. Let's go. We don't really do, okay, we have a plan or we have a structure, let's see what it's all about the money, So if I had come to Lagos before the time I did, I would probably have done one role so well, and everybody else will put me on that kind of role. And that usually is the case when we look at most veteran actors. We usually don't have anybody who has done a lot of things. It's either you have been doing Richard Money, staying Richard Money. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. So many names just came to mind now, so that's why I'm giggling. But,
okay.
So you did the movie, of course, got nominated for an AMVCA for Best Actor. Ended up winning the Trailblazer Award. Congratulations on that. Were you surprised at how, did you know you did that well when you were doing it?
To be honest.
Or when you watched it? When did you feel like, okay, yes, I killed this thing? Or was it feedback from people?
I would say that it started from when we were filming. There's one day my producer was like, superstar. And then the other producer was like, don't tell him that. So in that moment, I was like, okay, these guys, they watch the rushes.
Yeah,
when I was in school, if I write exams, I'm not the kind of student that comes out to check if I have failed or if I have failed a particular question. Some people do that. They'll pick up their book immediately. So I never really want to go and watch the rushes or what we have shot, except they have invited me to come and look at it. So to be honest, the vibe really did dawn on me at the premiere, after the movie had finished and everybody, people I have known or I had known and I looked up to wanted to get a handshake or a photograph and stuff. Yeah, that was when people were like, oh, we want to sign you, want to talk to you about this. That's when I was like, okay, hold on. I think I did it, Yeah, because you never really want to have that in the back of your mind while filming. That always never works out well, because, if I've done 10 films before living in bondage, I always believed that I put in 150 and that something was going to come from them. But, it was never really the case.
I agree with you, because I saw Black Rose recently and I was like, okay, this movie is not even, it's 5-6 years ago.
Yeah.
And, as much as you were not the lead character, but, you still did an amazing job. But is there now more pressure on you? So you're this living in bondage guy who did excellently now. So you come to, you did Kambili. Was Kambili before or after that?
After that, yeah.
After that. So you've been called out to do other roles. Is there now more pressure you feel to say, okay, I have to always at least do this great?
Well, the real pressure actually happens in my DM, to be honest, yeah. Some people would send you voice recordings where their dad would speak, their mother would speak, their sister would speak, because it's a story that really touched family stories and, family lives. And when you hear an entire family even send you a video and just say, please, you are the best thing that happened to Nollywood, don't ever stop, don't ever go below this, you begin to realize that, okay, hold on. In as much as you are passionate about this, and as an Enugu boy, I've gotten used to making films out of passion, to be honest. There's no money in the industry. Oh, please, you have a great script, let's do this. So the pressure now is to keep flying high. Just like somebody who has gone through a lot and then become rich, the biggest fear will be to start afresh, But like they always say, if you know what you're doing, you're not going to be afraid to start afresh, So I look at every day as an opportunity to make better on what Living in Bondage has already offered. But my biggest concern is with the quality. I don't know if I'm using the right word, but let me just say the type of scripts that have been offered now. So now I have to choose, okay, I think people have seen me in this capacity, and because I think I'm a versatile actor, I want to try comedy, I want to try other things, so instead of just steeped in drama or, something like that. So most times, like I said about stereotyping, they your frame or your size would also be considered when, letting you do a particular role. I remember Black Rose, I had to play 2 scenes or 1 scene in a movie in 2012 to be able to convince the director that I could actually work or pass for a mechanic. Because he was like, no, you're too fresh for this. You can't be a mechanic. I'm like, just give it to me. You understand? So if you've seen Black Rose, you would know that, I did my best at the time. I was a professional model then, to make sure that I looked the part, So, yeah, the biggest problem now is what you're being offered. And you can't keep saying no for a long time because the fans don't really know that, you've been getting scripts and you're not taking them.
They just wonder, where are you?
That's all they know. Where has he been? You don't come out for the limelight. So you also need to take some jobs for the sake of relevance. So we're getting to the place, or our industry is gradually moving towards a direction where eventually we'll become comfortable enough to do one job in 5 years.
How far away do you think we are there? Because you say you take some things for relevance, or I want to talk about money now, because you've mentioned it here. Even you will do things in Enugu just for the passion. I know people here who say they have to do so many movies so that they can keep up, because they pay for one movie can sustain you. So how is that going? You are now an actor, full-time actor. You're in Lagos. I mean, Lagos life is definitely more expensive than the Enugu life.
Yes.
So money has to come into the conversation. The Nollywood pay, is it a valid conversation for you as well, where you feel like things are really not as good as they should be?
Well, to be honest, from where I've come from, I'm pretty comfortable, but you can't dwell on your past. So you have to focus on what you're able to achieve moving forward. So having said that, I like to also not just be the pretty face on TV. I like to do the mathematics and do the film business. So taking some classes, lectures, asking questions, reading materials will tell you that I think 77 cinemas in Nigeria, maybe right about that number. So 77 cinemas as compared to 50-something thousand cinemas in either India or USA. You're going to see that we're not making the amount of money we ought to be making. We're still struggling to hit 1 billion naira. And if you convert 1 billion naira to, in the cinemas, if you convert that to dollars, you see that we're not really scratching what our other colleagues are doing. And do we have the audience or the number of people? We do, but we just don't have the right strategy yet to position cinemas, especially community cinemas. In India, every street has one cinema, so we don't have that wherewithal yet to be able to establish what we need to be able to make sure that we are seeing the money that we are asking for. So I just don't want to be the actor on Twitter who's saying, pay us better or do this, carrying. I want to be able to understand why isn't there enough money out there? So the honest truth is there's not, because there's not enough cinemas, there's not enough revenue, there's not enough conversations around the fact that actors have to step up and stop being pretty faces on the screen. Get involved, produce something, contribute something. So most actors have to lay back and depend on being influencers to be able to make ends meet. But generally, movies should be able to lead actors or people who have gotten to a certain level in industry should be able to make a lot more than they are making right now.
Do you think a lot of people understand this, though? A lot of your colleagues understand the fact that the money conversation is a certain way because of the way things are set up?
Not everybody understands that part of the conversation, because if you read the articles, most of us just like to watch videos, but if you actually do read the numbers, statistics, you would see that at the end of the day, the amount of money that distributors take and the one that the cinemas take. If, for example, a movie makes 100 million in the cinemas and the cinema takes 40% and distributors take maybe 10, 15, 20, depending on what the conversation is, sometimes cinemas will take up to 60, and the producer is left with 35% or 40% of what you've heard in the cinemas. That 40%, he still has investors to pay back. And by the time he's done paying back, what's the take home for all the work that you have done? You understand? To be able to prepare yourself for the next project. So numbers don't add up yet.
Do you think the industry is doing enough, though, to sort of surmount this? Where I'm talking actively, there's a lot of guilds, that exist. There's people who have been in the industry for decades now. Do you think there's a conscious effort, to actually invest, even from governments? Even do you find that things are looking in the right direction? Because 77 cinema rooms in 2021 is more than a little. It's not where we should be. Yeah. Do you find that we're heading somewhere?
The guilds are not working. First of all, to put that out there, you're not working because, it's very far away, a dream of mine, to be able to be at the helm of affairs or to be able to govern things or to be able to advise whoever is governing things with guilds. Yeah. I think, first of all, before guilds ask you to register and to spend money and to be with them, I think, first of all, what they need to do is to show you that they can cater for you, they can care for you.
There's a benefit to you.
Yeah, so structure, that's what's missing. Structure is what says that you're not just going to go to your house and make a film and come out and sell. Because at the end of the day, when somebody makes a great film, and he says, I'm not going to sell this film for anything below 100 million. And that person says, don't mind that guy, come and take for 5 million. That's the problem we're having. We were talking about piracy for a long time. That's what killed the DVD industry, And now that the DVDs has phased out, no such machines in the supermarkets anymore, we are now forced to look back at the cinema industry that we refuse to foster all the while. And in that same space, we have movies that ought not to be in the cinemas, making it to the cinemas for certain reasons that I don't have the experience or the clearance to discuss as to why. But I believe that government isn't helping enough. At least last year, the governor of Lagos State was able to stop the regulation that was going to take 10% of anything anybody makes, and that's a great progress. But we'd love to see more. We'd love to see multinationals invest. We'd love to see. We have Nigerians, rich Nigerians, who have studios in LA, and we don't have a single movie village in the entire country. For a country that boasts the most number of films produced in a year as the highest industry, above US and India, I'd like to think that we should have at least 10 of those kind of movie villages. Instead of people to spend money in Lagos traffic, moving from one location to another, they can actually settle down in one place and make a better film. So that's part of the problem.
Nollywood conversations always fascinate me, and we could go on and on today. But let's just round up what you're talking about. 2021, what should we be looking forward to with you, your brand, and what's coming?
I'm working on a couple of projects for 2021. There's Lockdown with Moses Iwang. There's some other ones that are still, under the table, conversing. I'm not an easy person to convince anyways, because I like to think that I bring a lot of things to the table. So I also am working on a project of my own. I'm looking to collaborate because...
Producing?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So because I'm hoping, I know that the secret, part of the reason why we're not making so much progress in this industry in terms of revenue is lack of collaboration. There's always almost either one production house and one person putting money together. But when you watch American movies and you see the list of executive producers, you can tell that a lot of money was pumped into that. So I'm hoping to create something soon, or hopefully I can talk about it soon when I'm able to. Yeah, but maybe I'm looking to. There's no content for kids. There's no content for middle-aged students, high school, so college. So I'm hoping to create content around what's missing.
Looking forward to that. Thank you very much, Jidekene, for being here today. More greatness, more money, even if you're not particularly conscious of that. But please, we need to make that money.
We do. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
We'll take another break and be right back. Don't go away.